right, it is Monday, October 13th, 2025 at 6:30. We'll go ahead and open the regular meeting of the McGregor City Council. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll move on to our public comments. Is there anybody here that would like to speak under the public comments that is not an agenda item?
I know hers isn't, I'm not sure about hers. Is that Wendy? Yes. Was it a specific item on the agenda? Or just? It says 10.
So are y'all wanting to speak on the, on item 10, is that what you said?
Of the housing authority?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, then we will get to you on agenda item 10. Item number 1, consent agenda. Consider approving minutes of council meeting held on September 8th, 2025. They were included in your packets, and I didn't catch anything in there. That, as far as I know, that's exactly how it happened. So I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the council meeting held September 8th, 2025.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item number 2 on our agenda is hold a public hearing on ordinance O-18-2025, an ordinance of the City of McGregor, Texas, repealing and replacing Chapter 6, Amusements and Entertainments. This item we're going to go ahead and table, but because there was a public hearing at the Planning and Zoning meeting, we have to have the public hearing here as well. So, Brian, would you present that?
This is a complete rewrite of our current zoning as it relates to amusement facilities, specifically eight-liners. City attorney and I have been back and forth on this for quite some time. We thought it was ready to go, but there was not any mention in there for charity or bingo or nonprofit use. So we're going to look at adding that verbiage and hopefully have something for you next month.
All right. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:32. If anybody would like to speak on that. Not seeing anybody, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:33, and we will go ahead and skip over item number 3, which will be presented to us next month, and go to item 4, hold a public hearing regarding application for bed and breakfast / short-term rental specific use permit at 302 Pierce Street.
All right, Mayor, Council, this is a request for specific use. The last time that we visited anything really relating to this was for Ordinance 1423, and the amendment to that was to allow the use in the Central Business District. We had not much interest in short-term rentals. This is the first one that has come to us and really pursued it. So short-term rentals in the residential zonings are by specific use. This one far and exceeds the distance required of 500 feet between the next short-term rental. We do have 3 that are registered right now in the community. There are 2 that are actually only operating as short-term rentals. The other one is more long-term rental for executives, but they're maintaining their status as a short-term rental. So this is the if it was approved, would be one of only 4 short-term rentals in the community. So Planning and Zoning did recommend approving this specific use permit provided that staff would inform the property owners and the property management company that there are hotel motel taxes that are due quarterly, and that those have to be submitted in timely fashion.
All right. Well, we'll open the public hearing at 6:34, if anybody would like to speak on that. Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:35. Move on to item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding application for bed and breakfast / short-term rental, specific use permit at 302 Pierce Street. Does council have any questions for Brian? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
That is the house. Yeah, what was relayed to me is that they're not gonna live here full-time, so they're gonna live about 49% of the time in one location and 51% of the time in another location, so they're just gonna rent the house out to offset, I guess, the expense.
I just live down the street from them.
I think it's fairly new owners. I don't think that they've owned it very long. Yeah.
All right, so I will entertain a motion. Whoa, no. This is the specific use permit. No.
No.
No, I just mentioned that, Bonnie. That was that last time that we visited specific use, or I'm sorry, short-term rentals.
Yeah, confused me.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 6, discussion and possible action regarding Resolution R-16-2025, a resolution of the City of McGregor, Texas, finding that Encore Electric Delivery Company LLC's application to change rates within the city should be denied, finding that the city's reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by the company, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring notice of this resolution to the company and legal counsel. All right.
Council, as you recall, we've joined a fairly large group of cities that intercede in these cases. Did it with Atmos, and now this is the same thing with Encore. And this is their recommendation and their verbiage and their attorneys with gasoline. And so I recommend that we do what they ask us to do.
All right. Does council have any questions for Kevin on this?
Is this a sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is this a renewal or it's a beginning?
I'm sorry, say again?
A renewal or like every?
Oh, no, this is just a rate increase, straight across.
Okay.
We renewed their franchise several years ago.
And how often does this happen? So if we deny it today, is there?
This
chances
is the
of-
first rate increase Encore has filed in years. Same was with Atmos, so it's been a while since we've had major increases to deal with. And when as soon as they filed this one, I looked at the Encore people, the group of cities that we did with Atmos, and said, "Can we get on board with y'all?" And they said yes. This has not been a very common thing. Now, back in the 70s and 80s, it seemed like they did it about every other month, but it was also a whole lot harder to deal with back then. Everybody had to get their own attorneys. So this city organization stuff is pretty nice.
Yep, so it mentions here the city's reimbursable rate case expenses. What have those been? The
Oh.
expenses related to it?
Very little. Whenever the cities group decides to move forward, that cost will be dispersed amongst all of us.
What do you expect it roundabout?
Less than $5,000 total, if that. Hope they don't make a liar out of me, but that would be my expectation.
Hope not too. Yeah.
All right, any more questions for Kevin? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion by resolution number. Say again?
Is it even if we deny it? Okay. I move we,
Well, hold on a second.
I said even if we deny it.
Are you voting to approve this resolution
No,
or?
Correct.
we're voting to approve this resolution that we deny it.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution R-16-2025.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
What would your recommendation be, Kevin, on this?
To pass the resolution. Because you don't wanna be the one that has to pay the higher rate for the period of time. Of course, once it all gets through the PUC and gets done statewide, they'll go back and adjust. But in order to not be part of a group that gets adjusted first, that, you just need to do this.
So there's still a risk of proposed changes, just not at this rate.
Oh, there will be rate changes before this is over with, but it'll be something that everybody agrees to ahead of time. This group is very, very exceptional at interceding in rate cases.
Do we know how much percentage-wise it was increased to current rate now?
No, I don't have any of that. It was significant, though.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Moving on to item 7, we are going to come back to item 7 next month. There's some verbiage that needs to be cleaned up and how we're doing things, so we'll move on to item 8, discussion and possible action regarding resolution R-18-2025, a resolution by the City of McGregor designating authorized signatories for contractual documents and documents for requesting funds pertaining to the Community Development Block Grants, Mitigation, General Land Office, State Contract Number 23-160-125-F395. Lee, I assume that you're going to present that?
Yes. Yeah, this agenda item, as well as the next two, are agenda items that we talked through with GrantWorks and realized they were things that needed to be done for the proper facilitation of receipt of grant funds and use of those grant funds. This agenda item is basically just saying that Kevin and I can do and sign and do what we need to do in the website where we operationally, work with the GLO. Yes.
All right, so basically all this resolution is doing is stating that our city manager and our city finance director will be the authorized signatures on this grant. So-
Tell us, go ahead.
Oh, please.
Tell us a little bit about this grant.
Okay. Well, so this is the RCP grant, which I believe application for it might have started before I got here, or I think Brian was a little bit more involved in the application process, and bet he could speak more into that.
Fill in for Lee on this one. This is the Resilient Communities Grants application that we submitted about a year and a half ago to do our comprehensive plan. And there were some issues in the springtime where they got backed up and they weren't processing any paperwork. And then when they finally started processing paperwork, they limited the amount that we were going to receive. And our grant coordinator was able to talk to them, and we presented just a one-page document, so it increased the amount that we could potentially receive. And now all the paperwork is done, so this is the last part of it. This is the civil rights part of it. I'm sorry, this is the signature part of it, and then the next resolution is for the civil rights, saying that we'll agree to treat everybody fairly and so on. So this will set in motion for us to get the comprehensive plan started, hopefully in the next month or so, whenever they want to have a meeting and green light us.
So the grant is to fund the comprehensive plan?
Correct, yeah.
Right. What's the intent of the comprehensive plan?
As like you had the McGregor 2030 plan, so this would be the next iteration of that. We have, we'll have community outreach. People could come and talk. Ordinances and codes are a little bit outdated, so we want to clean those up and get them more into the modern era. So that's what the plan is going to help fund.
How much do we anticipate in funds?
We can receive up to $300,000. So I don't know that we'll use all of that, but it's available to us.
Gotcha. Does it work on a 80-20 split?
I don't remember the designation on that one.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I can get that
Yeah,
answer.
we'll get an answer for you.
So how long has this been in the works again?
About 18 months. Yeah.
Gotcha. So outside of the comprehensive plan, because it's just the structure, right, the shell, what are the intentions of the city specifically? We talked about some goes to zoning, some goes to 2030 type visions. What do we anticipate doing with those funds? Why did we apply?
Well, your comprehensive plan is your playbook for whatever time frame you give it. So if the citizens of McGregor come out and say, you know, we want to see a unicorn farm, then that's the prerogative of the council and the administration to try to facilitate a unicorn farm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So council oversees those funds?
As far as like for paying for the comprehensive plan, or what would be allocated for
What
those?
would be allocated for it? Because if you say it's an 80-20 split, or
Like, is the city responsible for, I don't know if it's an 80-20 split, submit those receipts for reimbursement.
Gotcha. So this paperwork for Lee and Kevin to get involved is to continue application for this grant?
Yeah, we have to put it out for proposal. So that's the process right now, is getting the green light to put it out for proposal. And then the proposal will come to y'all, and y'all can pick whoever y'all want to do the comprehensive plan based on their proposal. So.
All right.
But we already have the grant.
Yeah, we have the
We don't have
grant.
the money, but we have the.
Correct. Just gotta act on it now.
So we already have the funds?
Yeah, well, we don't have the funds yet.
Gotcha. You
This
got
is
the
getting
grant.
us to the funds, yes. Yeah, we gotta jump through some hoops for the GLO. So it's a federally funded grant facilitated through a state department down to the municipal level, so you can imagine the level of bureaucracy that it's taking to get here.
So we've already got the grant.
We were awarded the grant a long time ago. It's just been Austin doing their thing. Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have any questions for Brian?
And we'll find out if it's 80-20.
All right, if you don't have any more questions, I will entertain a motion by resolution number.
I make a motion that we approve resolution R 18-2025.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 9, discussion and possible action, excuse me, regarding resolution R-19-2025, a resolution by the City of McGregor, Texas regarding civil rights in relation to the awarded Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Grant from the Texas General Land Office. All right, Lee, why do we need a separate resolution?
It was recommended by GrantWorks that we needed a resolution to make us the signatories. That was the last one. This resolution, there's a few policies for us to adopt within the realm of this grant. The GrantWorks has reviewed it. I've looked over it. I think it's in your agenda packet if you wanted to look over it. But they're just general policies that we need to adopt to make sure that everyone and the funds especially are treated fairly. But I'd be happy to answer any questions. I may not be able to answer them now. It's just kind of standard policies, but I'd be happy to go back and look through them if y'all want.
All right, so, go ahead.
So all 6 of the policies that are listed that we're asking to adopt here, where are those?
I believe those are in the agenda packet. If not, I can get, I think,
They're in it.
Yep.
okay. Yeah. But I have them in digital format. I can send them your way if you'd like as well, but yeah.
I got them here, thanks, Lee. Yep. Guess I do have a question. Who's overseeing the enforcement of these policies?
Me.
It is an 80/20. We just looked up, it is an 80/20 grant for the RCP funds. Thank you, Brian.
All right, there's
So-
there's a lot to read through.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, they provided it in English and Spanish for us,
I was,
of which I can only read half of that.
Yep.
these are pretty standard though, GrantWorks, usually hands these to
Yes. Yeah.
the cities.
Yeah, there were no modifications made to it other than GrantWorks says, hey, we need these, and then they reviewed it, we reviewed it, and then it ultimately made it to y'all's desk.
Yep. So those departments that this really affects, it looks like the PD and then the fair housing piece. Kevin, you're gonna enforce those, is there a training element or that?
Not really. You're really already in position to do these. You've essentially got them. They just want you to pass it in their form. It's required before you get the grant.
So-
Pretty much that simple. And if you read them, you look at them, you go,
Yep.
we really have to say we have that policy?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yes, you do for them.
All right, so unless we have any further questions, I will entertain a motion by resolution number.
Make a motion to approve resolution R-19/2025.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 10, mayor to sign a proclamation of the city of McGregor proclaiming April as Fair Housing Month. And I'm assuming this is another one of those requirements from our government for the grant money.
Correct.
Yes, this is the last of 3 for fair housing policies. Just GrantWorks advised us to implement.
All right. Now, we have a couple citizens that would like to speak on item 10. Would you like to come up and and say a few words. Please identify yourself and tell us your address.
My name is Judy Hayer. I live at McGregor Senior Apartments, 1007 South Madison Street, McGregor, Texas. I don't know if it really has to do with the fair housing, but to me, fair housing is not making people feel uncomfortable in their homes and letting, it has to do with a specific place, apartments. The McGregor Housing Authority apartments. And the person that runs the apartments. And she's been there for many, many years. And there's a lot of people that are afraid of her. She doesn't get anything fixed. They're living with ants. And a specific person that I'm talking about that lives there has a baby and another one on the way. And she has been harassing her since she has been there. She was real nice to her to fill out her application, but then once she got in, she was telling her what she could do, what she couldn't do, even down to what kind of toilet paper she could use. From what I've been told by several others, this woman has abused her authority on these particular apartments for many, many years, but everybody's afraid to go against her. This person went against her, stood her ground, and is fighting, and she almost lost her baby because of all the harassment and all the trauma that she's caused her. She put up cameras, which they were told they're not allowed to, but they are. I was told she was over HUD as a director and the manager of these apartments. One parent, she wouldn't let her child get off on the school bus down their street because it didn't look good. I'm just advocating for these people because they're all afraid of her. Those are her apartments. Her and her husband are the god of those apartments. I'm sorry to say it like that, but that's the way they act. And they're always watching. They've got a camera pointed straight at her apartment since she's been there. And they're always giving her violations for something they don't have no right to. They've gone into her apartment without her being there. She has cameras set up in her house that she pays for. But this particular person, Joan Wright, is constantly harassing her. Now, there's another young lady that moved in, and she has several little kids. She's already started harassing her. But from what I've been told is if you stand your ground against this woman, she will do everything she can to get you out. Those are her apartments. You can't put holes in the walls. You can't put up pictures. I mean, I don't understand, but they won't fix anything. I think something needs to be done, and she needs to be investigated.
Kevin, do we have any authority over?
No, we not. City council puts the board of
I just don't know who else to go
directors
to.
in place, but she works and reports directly to them.
Okay. Alex, that's your ward. Can you gather up a little bit more information on that so we can take it to the correct board?
100%.
And so we do have a board that oversees
Hmm?
that.
Yeah.
It's the
Y'all appoint.
McGregor Housing Authority.
That's her. She's the McGregor Housing Authority. She's the one that's causing all these problems for several people. Several people that live there are too afraid, and she's got somebody watching these young women. Another thing I'm concerned about, and I'll just tell you, one of the young girls is my granddaughter, but what I'm worried about is they have a fence all the way around, and the only way you can get in and out of that yard is through the apartments. You have a front door and a back door. if something was to happen to them and their apartments, and they had to get out through the back, there's not an escape route. There's not a gate or anything for them to go out, like if it was to, catch on fire or whatever. But she needs to be investigated, her and her husband. Her husband took a picture of my granddaughter when her fiance brought their baby, one of their babies. And she ended up calling the cops. Her husband was going after the cop, and he threatened to put him in handcuffs. I understand that they're running the place, but they're supposed to make it a safe place for those people and to make them feel welcome. That is their place that they are paying for. She's not paying for it, but she acts like she is. So I'm just saying she needs to be investigated and her husband needs to be investigated. And they need to get rid of the ants because it's in her lease that that's her responsibility, but she won't do it. And they're carpenter ants. We've already seen them. But it's not just her apartment. It's all their apartments.
Can I get Angela or somebody to, your name, your phone number, and your address so I can follow back up with you,
Mhm.
please?
And that's my board.
Oh, that's yours?
You've got some, you've got some too.
That's them too. We'll work together,
Well-
Bonnie. Yep.
All right.
I don't think the way she's treating these people is right. And she says that she has spies. She has spies. They're her eyes and ears.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
I just didn't know who else to go to. This has been going on for apparently many, many years.
I had no idea. But we will definitely.
I figured not, so I'm bringing it to attention. So hopefully something will be done. They need
Okay.
to go.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Who's driving her information? Anybody?
Well, I got names, I don't have contact information.
1007 South Madison's the address.
So my name is Wendy Hill. I live at 301 North Joshua Drive, Unit 104. And I just wanted to vouch for what Ms. Judy was saying because I actually live there. I've lived there for 7 years. So what she's saying is absolutely true. I should feel safe when I get ready to go home and knowing that nobody's going into my apartment without me knowing. I should ever do to feel safe with, when I call and say, hey, there's ants. Can you come fix it? When things need to be fixed, which I'm gonna use this example. When your toilet is backing up in your tub and you get told, okay, you wait until Monday, we can fix it. And you have to go the whole weekend like that. Or when you have a leak underneath the sink and you get told, do you have a bucket? Leave it underneath there, we'll come fix it next week. I've watched this place go downhill for all 7 years, and I have a son, and I wanted to be able to bring him home to a nice, safe, comfortable place. If I could afford it, I would have already been gone, but I can't. And speaking to the other neighbors around me, some of them deal with worse things that I have to deal with. Mold in the bathroom. You get told, get it off the wall with bleach or water. That's not fixing a problem. And then they feel threatened because they think, if you report it or you say anything, you're going to get kicked out. And sometimes that's the way I feel. I'm not scared of her, but I do feel like I have to provide a roof over me and my son's head. So I just kind of stay quiet and just watch things. So, it would be nice to have somebody come in. I've tried to call to get somebody to investigate, and they said, oh, here's the housing authority number. It's her number. So it's like, who do you go to over her? Because she is considered the housing authority. And then when you go to talk to her, she's very disrespectful and ugly towards you, the way she talks to you. And it's like, okay. So I just want to speak up and let you know I am a tenant there and that I could vouch for everything that she's saying that her granddaughter's going through. But, I don't go complain to Joni anything about anything because, like I said, I need a roof over me and my son's head. But I want it to be done better. We need better.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, with that. that being actually totally off topic of what we were supposed to be doing, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this resolution.
Proclamation.
Proclamation, excuse me. Whereas Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, as amended, prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it is a national policy to provide within constitutional limits for fair housing in the United States. And whereas the principle of fair housing is not only national law and national policy, but a fundamental human concept and entitlement for all Americans. And whereas the national housing law during the month of April provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize that complete success in the goal of equal housing opportunity can only be accomplished with the help and cooperation of all Americans. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of McGregor, do proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in the City of McGregor and do hereby urge all the citizens of this locality to become aware of and support the fair housing law. Before y'all take off today, would you stop with Brian back there in the peach-colored shirt? Give him all your contact information, and we will look into everything that you're talking about.
And thank y'all.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
for
for
that.
coming and speaking up. All right, moving on to item 11. Discussion and possible action regarding Resolution R-20-2025, a resolution authorizing execution of an advance funding agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for State Highway 317-0398-03-066 pedestrian activated crossing signals.
All right, council, this is just a new resolution, but an old project, another one that's been in the works for about 18 months. This one we put out for bid back in April, and the bids were wild as far as the gap. So we talked to TxDOT and felt like we wanted to put it out for bid again for a longer time and kind of clean up some of the wording in the bid and see if we could get maybe some more competitive, closer numbers. So we worked through that with them. We were able to get someone to bid on the project, but the bid that we got back was exponentially higher than the maximum amount that was going to be covered by the grant. So we went back to TxDOT and asked them, is there a way that we can only do one intersection? And they actually responded to us that they are going to cover 100% of the cost overruns because of this project. So TxDOT is, through this amendment to the AFA, they're actually going to be looking for a little over $100,000 so that we can get this 3rd Street and 6th Street with pedestrian signals.
All right.
Can't beat that deal.
I think it's gonna be great. Like, every time I'm walking, I had some friends come and we kind of went downtown and the restaurant, and I was just like, man, soon we should be getting these crosswalks.
When we
So it's nice to finally know.
When we submitted this, it was submitted to TxDOT. The MPO was doing carbon reduction grant funding, and we actually submitted it. The project name was Project Frogger, kind of tongue-in-cheek. So.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Brian on this project that we should have already had in construction?
Yep, so the local participation that's listed here in attachment B2, that 37,116, we no longer have to pay that.
We will still have to pay our portion of it. So $37,000 is the city's portion. That was the original 20% that we had been prepared for. Actually, we've submitted for this before, and then I talked to Carolyn and told her that I was going to submit for it again the last funding cycle, and she set aside $44,000 anticipating it. So we have $44,000 in the, we had it last year's budget, but we have it in this year's budget to cover that. So we're not looking for the money, but that is going to be our portion. In the way that it was originally structured, we were going to pay our 20%, TxDOT was gonna pay their 80%, and then anything that exceeded that, we were gonna be beholden to. But the way that TxDOT is coming at us right now is that we pay the 37,000 and the rest is their baby.
Which account does that come from? Budget, does that come from?
I'm not sure what the line item is. I don't know where Lee went. But it's in there. I don't know I don't know.
What account does that come from, Lee?
I don't really know the line item either, like the specific numbering of it, but it's just.
It's a separate-
line item, separate
Yeah.
from everything.
And which budget? We don't know which fund it comes from?
Probably the general fund, probably street.
Why do we care? I think it's more important just to know how it's
Okay.
budgeted, where it's budgeted to, and if it's gonna be paid
It is always gonna be paid.
to budget.
All right. If there's no further questions, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion by resolution number.
I make a motion, we approve resolution R-20-2025.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 12, discussion and possible action regarding resolution R-21-2025, a resolution of candidate nominations for the McLennan Central Appraisal District Board of Directors for the year 2025.
In the past, we have supported Ben Perry, who's current chairman. Well, he said he's not running again, but he's still got a year. And I just soon keep him on there for that year if he will. And if he has not responded to me in that regard, so my assumption is that he's gonna do it for at least a year, and we may have to come back and do another one after that. But we've got 42 votes, and we normally put our 42 votes for Ben Perry.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Kevin on this? Ben Perry is a good man. I'd like to see him in there as long as he chooses to
As
be.
long as he'll stay.
I am ready for a motion.
Make a motion that we put our 44 votes for Ben Perry on the, on the Clinton Central Appraisal District.
There's 42 votes.
42 votes.
We have a motion and a second
Sorry.
to approve resolution R-21-2025 and put all of McGregor's votes behind Ben Perry. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding SpaceX agreement for wastewater reuse.
In your packet, you have another one of those things that's been a long time coming. We started this before they started building. They started building and they are complete. We've done our walkthrough. They have some things that they have to do. The exhibit on where the line is up on the wall. But this has been back and forth probably 25 times. Essentially, the water that we send down the creek, they have built all of the capital improvements necessary to do this project. I was gonna measure that. I think it's about 2 miles worth of line. Chad's gone. Chad went to get food.
It says down at the bottom, plus or minus 4.38 miles.
Well, it's a lot longer than I thought it was. But they have made 100% of the capital investment. So basically, the money that we charge them, which I believe is $2 a thousand, is $2 a thousand more than we're getting putting it down the creek. And it goes to their cooling process. This will also save their use of potable water that they're using currently. Now, I'm not gonna say that'll be a forever savings because it will ebb and flow as they do testing and so forth, but It's a very good, significant use of that, and they'll take every bit of it we can produce for now. The plant will be expanded in the coming years. We've already got our permit capable of that, or for that. Now we just got to start looking at how to do the capital improvements to do it. But they may want to take the rest of it. We have other people in the industrial park that have talked about this several times. Nobody's ever taken it. SpaceX has talked to me about it for over 10 years, and finally they decided to do what it took to get it. They've also undertaken quite a bit of investment on site to capture rainwater and to recapture the steam off of these things. They've spent quite a bit of money to recycle on-site water and rainwater, so they're making a pretty big, expensive effort to go down this road. The $2 a thousand should more than cover our maintenance, and they will dedicate the thing to us as soon as we get all this taken care of. It'll be ours. And the specifications were our specifications. In fact, some of the corrections they're going to have to make are things that were materials ordered that did not meet the spec that we spec. We're going to go ahead and let them start it up, and they're going to replace it, and they've guaranteed that in the agreement as well.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Kevin on this? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the SpaceX agreement for wastewater reuse.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? And motion carries. Item 14, discussion and possible action regarding membership to join the Central Texas Water Alliance.
You have in your packet the application. I meant for you to have also this information you have in front of you. This has been coming through the legislative session. It was the brainchild originally of, well, maybe not originally. I think he dusted off an old document. But the county judge in Bell County, Bell County, McLennan County, I think a couple other counties, and several water supply corporations and cities joined together to get this legislation passed to create the Central Texas Water Alliance. This is a fact sheet also included, and this is not something that we just have to pass right now, but I included the minutes of the original meeting. County Judge Felton is also on the board. This thing is designed to basically take groundwater from the, what's the name of the, I always forget.
Crizo. Wilcox.
Yeah, Crizo Wilcox, which is considered East Texas. It's on the other side of I-35. It's a very rich and very well replenished water table. Well, and there are people over there that have invested and they want to send the water over here. Now, that said, it's current water law in Texas is that it's their right to do so, and there's several communities, not just Central Texas Water Alliance, but other cities and so forth that are going through this process. There's been some lawsuits filed to stop it, change it, slow it down. I think there is an injunction at this time on one of them. However, in order to keep this from occurring, it'll literally change water law almost nationwide. I mean, the water law in Texas for sure. If a private property owner can't take the water out from under the ground and sell it to who they want to, then it kind of changes things. Now, I understand how some of them feel, but this thing would be a good thing for us to be a part of. Can't even tell you right now what it will cost us, but it's not going to cost that much. What's going to cost money is the operation of it won't cost much at all. What's going to cost money is when it comes time to start building. However, in our situation, one of the most interested groups is Fort Hood. And if Fort Hood's going to build a straw over there big enough, then we can all probably take a piece of that straw and do it for a lot less money than if we just went to get it ourselves. So it makes a lot of sense. The Bluebonnet Water Supply Corporation has already joined it, so Jim will be on that as well. I think we should join it. If it's something you want to take time to look at, we can do this next month and not have a bit of trouble. But if you're ready to go ahead, I can go ahead and submit the application, and then, depending on what they decide to charge us, we'll come back to you to approve that as well. I'd like to go ahead and get our name in the hat if we could. And then with the understanding that once they decide what it's gonna cost us, I'll have to come back to you for the money to do that budgeted.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Kevin on the Central Texas Water Alliance? All right. Well, I will entertain a motion to either join or whatever you want to do.
I'll make a motion that we, join, put our application in to join the membership for the Central Texas Water Alliance.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 15, discussion possible action regarding Next Link lease agreements.
I'm gonna ask you to table that till next month. They have come back and it's come to our attention they're gonna need a couple of easements to go along with this, and I wanna make sure we define those easements and make it a part of this lease as well. They're already on the tower, but they're gonna upgrade their equipment, and when they do that, they're gonna have to run a line or two across. When you're dealing with that water tower and running lines across there, we gotta make sure we know exactly where they're gonna be. We get to tell them where to be, and it's not included in this lease. And this lease document was created by our city attorney. All these companies send their standard lease, and we hardly, I won't say never, but 15 years we haven't ever signed one. We've always had our city attorney do it and put it in our best interest.
All right, well, at this time, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to postpone this item. Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to postpone this agenda item. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. All right, Lee, you have the stage again. Item 16, receive financials as of August 31st, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your time. Okay, so this is over the month of August. This is the last month before the end of the year, and all the accruals, everything, adjustments, audit, all that fun stuff. So August represents 91.67% of the fiscal year. We can see some of the important funds that we have: the general utility fund, exchange, and the airport, and just kind of where they're at in relation to that. We can see that a lot of those are really coming in as expected, just compared to budget. Utility fund revenues are a little over what we budgeted for, but as far as expenses go, we're not overspent anywhere. So we'll go on and look at each of these funds just compared to how they looked last year, and we'll dig a little bit more into that. So for the general fund, net cash flow is $526.9 thousand higher than the previous year. Revenues are up $1.4 million. Expenditures are also up $895,000. The increase in revenue, $1 million of that is going to be a budgeted transfer from the industrial park, from the sale of land a little while back. Most of that remaining increase is going to be budget increase in ad valorem taxes received. Expenditure increases are primarily due to a contractual payment to the Waco Industrial Foundation, almost $300,000, with the remainder relating to budget increases in capital outlay, like the pool rehab that we had budgeted in parks, increases in contracted services such as engineering and software, and increases in personnel services. Okay. For the utility fund net cash flow is $902.4 thousand higher than the previous year. Revenue is up $673.4 thousand. Expenditures are down $229,000 compared to the same period. The revenue increase relates to an increase in water use and receipt of insurance refunds. Expenditure decreases are primarily due to a decrease in debt service expenses, offset by an increase in personnel costs as budgeted. Okay, for the exchange net cash flows are up $74,000 as compared to the same period last year. Revenues are up $9.6 thousand, so fairly consistent. Expenses are down $64.4 thousand. That large decrease is because in 2024 there were one-time expenditures such as the light replacement costs of $21.3 thousand, eclipse viewing event costs of $14.6 thousand. So a lot of that makes up that decrease in expenses. The rest of it relates primarily to just timing differences. Okay. For the airport net cash flows are down $9.1 thousand compared to the same period. Revenues are up $13.2 thousand. Expenses are up $22.2 thousand. Increase in expenditures relates primarily to increase in personnel costs as budgeted, and an increase in grant-funded terminal rehab projects as budgeted and as covered by the RAMP grant. And that's offset by a decrease in budgeted capital expenditures. Okay. All right, and here's just a top-down look at all the funds. We can see 2025 receipts and expenditures as of August, and 24 receipts and expenditures as of August. Okay, moving on. I think, yep, there we go. Okay, here's that same view of our cash flows, just where we are, top down, all of the cash accounts that we have comparative to last year. And we'll dig into that a little bit further in the next slide. Okay, so net cash in the bank is $2.5 million less than the same period last year. Operating accounts are up $5.5 million due to internal transfers. Pooled cash is down $3 million, grants are down $1.2 million, and capital projects are down $2.9 million compared to the same period last year. Okay, and last but not least, here's a graph of our sales tax. This is as of August. You can see the trend line is still healthy, still pointed up. But we are actively monitoring the sales tax, working with the appraisal district to get some reports that'll help us look into that a little bit further. And I believe that is it. So if y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to help.
All right, does council have any questions for Lee? None, we'll go ahead and move along into closed meeting. Closed meeting pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.071 Legal and Section 551.087 Economic Development. Legal under Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and Rule 1.05. Professional rules of misconduct, discussion with attorney on confidential matters. B, real estate under Texas Government Code 551.072, discussion regarding Project Star. Item C, economic development under Texas Government Code Section 551.087, discussion regarding economic development negotiations, including commercial or financial information received from a business prospect seeking to locate stay, or expand in or near the city of McGregor, and to discuss economic development, negotiations, and/or to deliberate the offer of financial or other incentive to a business prospect. So we're gonna go ahead and go into closed meeting at 7:30. Actually, Brian, you've got to come back to the meeting. So Lee, would you get the contact information from our speakers up here and make sure that we get it? Thank you, sir. right, it is 8:22. We're gonna go ahead and come back into open session and resume with agenda item 18, discussion and possible action regarding access agreement for Project Merlin.
Council, the access agreement is for 498 acres, and they're requesting the opportunity to do due diligence on that piece of property for 120 days, and it has a 120-day extension. This is how we have been handling the due diligence period, so that we can tie the property up while they actually take a look at it. We can still show the property, but we cannot make any deal until they're finished.
All right. Any questions for the city manager on that? I will entertain a motion to have the,
Access agreement for Project Merlin.
yes, go ahead.
I make a motion, let him access the agreement for Project Merlin. Kevin.
Kevin authorized to.
Yeah. Do that.
Okay, we have a motion
A second.
and a second. Is there any further?
It will be second. Bonnie had said it, but.
Oh, okay, no,
That's
Bonnie,
okay.
Bonnie got it.
I didn't hear it either. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. On to item 19, discussion and possible action regarding sale of land to Project Star.
It's 55 acres across the road from the Messer facility. They have done their due diligence, and they are ready to take this property down and get started.
All right, any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the sale of land to Messer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item 20, announcements from the city manager.
I really only have one thing, I've talked way too much tonight, and that is McDonald's open house tomorrow at 4. And they really want you there. You've got shirts to wear and the whole 9 yards. Get your picture taken and get some free food, maybe. And just gonna say that place has been absolutely packed since it opened. Welcome them. We need to welcome them to town.
All right, item 21, requests or comments from mayor or council members. Do we have anything from council?
I got a comment. I got to prove a point and just want you to understand where my intent is coming from my questions earlier. So when I asked about the budget question, there was hesitancy from Lee on the grant, information about the grant. When I asked Brian about the 80-20 split, I expect a response of at least city staff understanding where that money's coming from. Just a simple question of where it's coming from just really needs a simple answer. Your comment back about who cares, I care. I care because the city cares, right? So when we approve a grant and we don't know the split, or we're not aware of the split for $300,000, where's that 60 coming from? If we know where it's coming from, great. If not, we deserve to get an answer for the people. So, last point, the enforcement of policies. When I ask that question, it has to do with policing. It has to do with informing the policy to the city staff. Is that really on you to enforce all those policies that we voted in?
Every policy you vote is on me to enforce.
But with the assistance and training of those information, those policies to other members of staff, right?
As I see fit.
Okay. As you see fit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's my area.
It was just concerning to me that it didn't get clearances on those. And I want you to understand how disrespectful your response was
You're correct.
to a council member.
You're correct.
Because if you
and I
do it to me,
apologize.
Kevin, you're gonna do it to anybody else sitting out there.
No, it won't, and I apologize.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but that was completely unacceptable. And I just ask these questions for simple accountability. I'm not gonna go in, I expect them to know where money's coming from a budget, for a fund. If you say, hey, it's 30,000, it's coming from the general fund, great, right? The light project, the 37,000, oh, we budgeted for it, cool, where's it coming from? Streets, great. We expect to see that line item in the finance reports too, right? We're just at checks and balances. All I want is a little bit of accountability, simple questions, simple answers. I think everyone deserves that.
So that you understand, Lee was not in charge of putting the budget together, Carolyn was.
Mhm.
He's inherited it. Next year, he'll probably know where every little penny is sitting.
Yeah.
It's a general fund item. I never even think about it because I know it's budgeted. We move on. As far as the 80-20 split, how many grants you got rolling right now, and they've all got a different split? It's it's a very minor detail, but I appreciate your comment, and you're absolutely correct.
But one grant that you're presenting to council is something we would be familiar with for the night, right? I don't expect you to know all 300, but the one that you bring to the table, we should be semi-informed on what we're bringing.
You're correct.
Thank you. No further comments, Joe.
All right. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn at 8:29.